farmers are coming to us with requests about trying to figure out where mental health fits in to their leadership, to their growers, to their production, and even production costs. And farm stress and farm resilience are topics that we address in our program.
What we do with our program, which is called RASAP, the Western Regional Agricultural Stress Assistance Program, is that we talk about this connection between the health, the physical health, and the mental health, and really how all of that is integrated into the farm. And it is integrated in the health of the farm just as it is with the farm, with the health of the farmer and the health of the farm worker. There's a connection in between all three of them, and in order for one of them to be healthy, the other part needs to be healthy. It's all connected, and that's why it's so important to talk about mental health and take care, take steps, take actions in order to address these conditions in farmers and farm workers for the good of the farm and for the good of the people in the farm.
One of the things that we get to do at the RASIP, and it's on our website, farmstress.us. I love the fact that it's super easy to remember. Farmstress.us. We have our aggregate data collection results up there already for the producers, and what it's showing us is that male farmers, they are dying by suicide at a higher rate than females. We wanted to know why. One of the things that we came up with through academic research and through talking to farmers is understanding the agrarian imperative. And what that is in regular terms is that farmers are under a lot of pressure. They have to provide food for an entire nation. That's a lot of pressure. They get it from all sides. They get pressure about taking care of their land, taking care of their workers, taking care of their families, taking care of the sustainability, taking care of future generations. That's a lot of pressure. And the agrarian imperative says, well, I'm under this level of stress already. Maybe this is just normal. Maybe that's why they're not reporting higher levels of stress. Females are reporting levels of stress, female farmers are reporting levels of stress about the same rate as the general female population, but male farmers are reporting a lower stress, but are dying by suicide at a higher rate.
Yeah, and we often gather in the farms to talk about the health of our trees, the health of our crops, but we rarely gather to talk about the health of the farmers or the farm workers themselves. Yeah. And when we're talking about sustainability, it's important to not just talk about the soils, to talk about the crops, but also talk about the people. Because if we do not have healthy workers, if we do not have healthy farmers and healthy farm families, we cannot have healthy crops, and we cannot have the ability to nourish the world, which is this big mission that farmers and farm workers have. It's a huge mission that keeps on growing and needs more workers and needs more food. And there's often this request of more and more. How do we produce more? But we need to really incorporate in their taking care of our workforces.
It's really important that vulnerability and accessibility and just having these conversations, opening the conversation, having the conversation with whoever will listen to say, hey, what about farmer stress, farmer mental health? How can we address that? You can go to farmstress.us and get all kinds of information there. We have other partners that also have available information. And when it comes to real emergency situations, you can always call the Suicide Prevention Helpline or the Farm Aid Hotline. There are many resources for farmers out there that are facing stress.
Yeah, in times of crisis, now there's this new line, easier to text or call 988, right? That is, if you find somebody in a crisis or if you find yourself in a crisis, that's the quickest way to get help during a crisis. If the person is not in a crisis, there's other hotlines like the Farm Aid Hotline. If you go to farmstress.us, there's a lot of resources there that all are connected some way to farm stress or mental health. Another thing that I think it's really important to highlight is that what we're really trying to do with this program with RASAP is connect people. With the pandemic, we also saw that a lot of us no longer were connecting as much because we were isolated, right? And we're really trying to bring back people to connect because we're social beings. And living in rural areas, working in a farm, can often have us in a tractor for 12, even 14 hours a day where we don't have that social connection. But at the root of it, we need that social connection, whether it's with our families, our coworkers, our friends, and that's one of the things that we're also trying to do, how to bring people together, to really just talk, check on each other, and train also a lot of community members, church leaders, also really anybody that has any sort of connection with farmers or farm workers to get trained on suicide prevention strategies such as the question, persuade, and refer, which basically teaches us to be empathic and ask somebody, are you thinking about suicide? And asking those hard questions. Sometimes it just really takes voicing it once for somebody to feel heard. So we're really trying to connect people again to prevent suicides and to really try to get our farmers and our farm workers healthy again.
And also about resilience. Resilience requires community connections. If somebody is not necessarily in a crisis but experiencing a high level of stress, connecting with other people in the community is really, really important. So we also are looking at creating healthier communications, healthier community connections. And our tagline is, "You are not alone," because there are people there for you. There are organizations, many organizations, that can provide resources, and just connecting with your neighbors, with the people that are important to you is really important. It's important to remember that you are not alone.
Yeah, I think another thing that I often start my conversations with and presentations that I've done with either farmers or farm workers is we're often under this pressure to take care of our families, to take care of the crops, to take care of everybody around us, but we hardly ever think, or they hardly ever think about themselves. And I tend to refer to if you've ever gotten on an airplane, they always tell you, oh, if you're traveling with a child or if you're traveling with somebody else, make sure that you put on that the oxygen mask on first yourself, and then you can help somebody else. So we're really trying to teach our farmers and our farm workers to prioritize themselves. That can sound a little bit selfish, and it's something really hard to do, but it really is not, because if we do not take care of ourselves, if we do not take the time to slow down, rest, and take care of ourselves and take that deep breath, then we cannot help our farmer or our families. We cannot help our crops. We cannot help our workers if we're in a leadership position. We need to take care of ourselves, and that's often something that we don't do in farm culture because there's all of this sacrifice for our family, for our farms, and it's really important. And I know it's really hard for a lot of us to take care of ourselves, but we need to do it.